It's 8:20. It's 8:20 here in Hawaii, and in the Philippines, it's 8:20 at home. It's 2:20 a.m. here in Hawaii right now, and we're starting our live sessions now. So welcome everybody. We're on day 5 of our live series on building a network from scratch, and we are going to be talking about active listening this time. Let me just make sure that we're good. See if I can share this. Yep, it's quite dark, but it's okay. Hello, Remly. Thank you for watching. Okay, let me share this. So if you're watching me from my page on Facebook, yeah, feel free to share this live. Day 5 on active the art of listening. So give me a second while I share this. So how are you, Remly? Where are you now? Can you comment so I know? And of course, I'm not showing any slides today, so that's okay. You can either watch me on my page on YouTube, on my YouTube channel, or you can also watch me here on Facebook. Good morning from Hawaii. Yes, it's good evening in the Philippines. So there's gonna be like 5 topics that we'll be covering on that falls under the art of listening. And I've actually taken note of that. Hold on a minute. Yep. Okay, so just to give you a brief overview, everyone. Okay, the 5 topics that we will be going through today. Number 1, why is listening so crucial? Like active listening is very, very important. If you wanted to build trust, especially with new people that you meet, they don't know you, they don't like you. Of course, they don't trust you that much yet. So you need to be able to master the art of listening if you wanted to establish that firm foundation for new people, especially when you're attending a networking event, which is the very reason why I am in Hawaii right now. We're going to be holding our global convention in just few days from now, and it's going to be attended by so many people from different parts of the world, all our business people. And of course, we want those 5 days to be very, very productive for us. So the first topic would be why listening is very crucial. Second would be how to listen effectively. So there are certain tips that I've given you guys yesterday about the body language. And so we will be reflecting on that a little bit today, and also we'll be summarizing some of the key points that we learned from yesterday. The third one would be watching out for some common mistakes that will probably happen, unavoidable. But there are some mistakes that can also be avoided, of course, if you come prepared and you are very much aware. So, listening to sessions like this to educate you better will make you become more aware about these common mistakes so you don't end up committing them, right? And losing your opportunity to create that bond on the first meeting with your potential audience, okay, or potential client, if luck is on your side. Okay, of course, some of the common mistakes like distractions or when there's like the feel to dominate a conversation. I think I have that. I think I have that on some occasions. So just watch out because these are things that we need to be aware so we can create a very good atmosphere on that opportunity to converse with people. And then for the fourth one, part of our life today, we'll do some recap. We'll also do some practice if you're okay to practice with me, you guys. I know it's nighttime there, but yeah, if you're willing to learn, why not? Correct. And we will be doing some daily practice. I'll be encouraging you to do some sessions daily on active listening. You don't have to be in front of a client or in a business setup to be able to do this. Just practicing at home with your children. You know, the best people you can practice with are actually children. So if you have children at home, you can observe that the way that they listen to you, very intentional, very sincere, and very genuine. That's how children would listen, right? And when they grow up and they learn about interrupting people, they don't know that it didn't come from them naturally, but they acquired it along the way as they grow up. And then on the fifth part, we'll be doing some Q&A if there are questions, and then some wrap up. Okay, so are you guys ready? Let's get started. Okay, hold on 1 minute. Thank you, Remley, for staying. Where are you right now? Can you make a comment just so I could acknowledge you? Yep, we're live. Thank you for joining me for the last days. So this will just be very, very quick because I'm actually running out of my battery is very, very low right now. But of course, since I committed to add value to you guys every day, no if no buts, we make it happen regardless of where I am or what time it is. Like I mentioned, it's already nearing 3 a.m. here and I'm still wide awake. I think my body clock has not adjusted yet, which is fine. Okay. All right. Let's get started. So, why is listening very, very crucial? Um, Listening is very powerful. If you master the art of listening, I sincerely believe that every conversation will always be meaningful. So, active listening goes beyond just hearing someone's words or just pretending to actually converse, but it's about fully understanding and engaging and responding thoughtfully to the person you are talking to. um there's a certain scenario, for example, I sincerely believe that as listeners we always have the tendency to filter the things that we want to acquire, okay, and some we just let it pass by. But I believe that if we are talking to somebody who models how to listen attentively, we are we get influenced in one way, shape, or form, right? So, like when you're networking in an event or meeting a new business contact, having that attitude to actively listen and be interested with them really, really would help a lot in getting you to that next level. So whether it is having a next appointment or closing the deal, it plays a big role. Okay. Now let's go to building trust. So I've given you some introduction about active listening, what it is. Now let's go to building trust. Active listening helps to build trust. When someone feels, they are heard or that they are feel they are valued, okay, the trust actually naturally grows. Okay, it naturally grows, and hold on, just give me 1 minute. Okay. I hope you're actively listening. Okay, so the trust naturally grows. It just is human nature that when we see someone displaying a level of respect, we also give it to them. And for example, I still remember when I was introduced to the to the environment of transformational workshop. We have several activities there where active listening is being practiced. And that was the first time that I've experienced being heard because growing up as a child, not that I discount my parents, but they were also taught that way. Growing up as a child, we were taught not to rebut the parents when they were talking. We were taught not that just to wait for our right timing before we could tell what we wanted to tell. And so it kind of shrinked us down as a little child. And then growing up, we created this habit of being suppressed, right? And I don't know for you, but for me, that's very, very real. Again, not to discount my parents. There's no school for parents, and they only raised us the best way they know how. But I believe that in today's day and age, where everybody can speak freely, this is one thing that we have to understand, that we can play a part in encouraging people to speak up. So actively listening or listening intently to them will give them that permission. So have you ever been in a conversation where you knew that the other person wasn't truly listening? I'm sure you can make mention of some experiences, right? How did that make you feel? I don't want you to chat or put in the chat the experiences, but I just want you to put in the chat, how did that make you feel? Maybe some of you are like me, you felt not valued, you felt not acknowledged, you felt not important, right? And that's very, very real for most of us, especially growing up, right? So I wish I can see some of the comments, but let's see here. Okay, no comments so far. Okay, let's proceed before my battery runs out. So, how to listen effectively? Okay, there are some key elements to active listening. Listening effectively isn't just about what we hear, but it's also about how we respond with our body language and also our actions. So, let's go over three key ways to listen effectively, such as body language, reflecting, and also summarizing. So first, the body language. So good listeners often have this body language of first making an eye contact and then nodding occasionally to show understanding of what the other person is telling or sharing. And avoid crossing your arms, because when you cross your arms, it shows that you are not open, right? So I would normally do, like, if I have my hand here and there, this is the table, I would come near and then I would put my other hand on the side, okay? And then eye contact and then nod if I agree to what the person is saying. And then, you appear closer and wanting to listen more, right? So those are the 3 points visually that can be seen if the listener is with you. Okay. And I practice that you do that at home. Like when you talk to your child, sometimes not I don't just talk to my child, like I hold them in the shoulder and then I draw their face near if I wanted to say something like I love you, right? Very, very important to make them feel valued. Okay. At the end of the day, like I mentioned, time is our most precious commodity. Time gone is something that we can no longer get back. So you might as well want to create meaningful memories during that time that you spent with them. And actively listening to a person gives them that benefit, gives them that experience that will make you become a person that they will remember. Right. So next is reflecting. So this means giving the speaker cues that you're following along. So say things like, for example, oh, that sounds challenging, or I see, tell me more, right? These small phrases encourage people to open up more so that they can share with you and they will be more relaxed and more at home talking to you, right? And then the last one would be summarizing. So finally, summarizing means summing up what the other person said in few words. It shows that you were paying attention to them. For example, saying that finding the right connections has been really challenging, right? And that's very, very real for me. It's a great way to always confirm that you understood what they just said, because that will keep them focused with you as well, and that will keep the conversation very intimate, um or very real and focused on what you guys are talking about. So for those of you who are watching, try to summarize something that someone said to you today, and maybe you can share in the chat, or maybe you can just recall what worked there, right? What do you think is the most challenging part of being a listener? Is it body language for you? For you, is it body language? Is it more of the reflecting, or is it more of the summarizing? Let us know in the chat if you've identified yours. Okay, great. By the way, I can only see the chat from my Coach Lani Facebook live right now. Okay. Now let's go to the topic. The next topic is about the common mistakes that we are doing, that during a conversation. So how to avoid this common mistake? So one of the common mistakes would be avoid interruptions. Like because when you're conversing with someone, it's actually easy to make mistakes when listening. Specifically, if we're not used to practicing active listening. Okay, if this is not something that's practiced at home, initially you will find difficulty, but that's perfectly okay. Because again, once your intention is clear, your mechanism will appear, your motivation will appear. So the first mistake would be avoid interruptions. So interruptions, these are one of the biggest barriers to effective listening. It can be tempting to jump into our own thoughts and just, out of excitement. Sometimes you don't intend to interrupt, but because out of excitement of what you're hearing, you will end up interrupting the other person and then they will lose the momentum. Right? So this is something that we can be made aware. So if we are more aware, of course, we can make that better choice not to interrupt them and just, take it in, receive that excitement, and allow them to flow, right? Like again, it could be like I said, again, it could be very tempting, but just watch out for that. So it's not good because when we interrupt someone, we send a message that we are more valuable than their own inputs, right? Or than their own story. Okay. Next would be third one, minimize distraction. So let's talk about what distractions are available when we are in a conversation. How often have you found yourself checking your phone during a conversation? Ako, guilty ako dyan. I also do that sometimes, especially if we know that there's a lot of things that we need to attend to. But distractions actually takes away our attention from the person we're talking to, and it makes it clear that we're not fully present, we're not being with. So I think it's very important if we could like put our phones on the side, or on some networking events, very intentional. You know what they do? They have like a basket where you put all the gadgets on the side so that you can focus on the person that you are talking to. So remember, if you set aside distractions during important conversations, you will get real value from these conversations, especially in business settings. Again, let me repeat, especially in business settings, right? Fourth one, okay, resist to urge, or rather resist the urge to dominate. Yung bang feeling better ka, 'di ba? Sometimes, no, most of the time, dominating the conversation. This can happen if we are a little bit nervous or overly excited, correct? But remember, listening means that the other person is sharing. Okay, it means the other person is sharing. So try to be mindful of the balance and give the other person the space to actually express their thoughts fully. Okay, before you even react to them. And if you find yourself reacting, then just, remember the inhale, exhale, take a deep breath when you are made aware that, hey, I think I'm over dominating the conversation. Just take a step back and allow them to talk. Okay. Um, ang tawag ko dito, conversation monopolizer. Okay. So if you want to be remembered and by the other person, this is basically not effective to monopolize any conversation. We know people like that. And I'm one of those, in fact, on some conversations, not all the time, but I find myself when I'm very excited, I tend to, uy, ako din, I have that same kind of experience. But then again, remember what our goal is. We're talking to somebody, we want them to remember us. Okay, and that's how we will leave a mark in each and every person that we talk to. Okay, so who's guilty, aside from me, who's guilty of one of these mistakes? Sometimes. It's okay to admit it, diba? Let us know in the chat if you're also guilty of this. Yes, we all are at some point. Right. Okay, so now we're down to the last part of our live session for today, and I hope you've learned something significant so far. And don't wait and practice that. But just to do a recap, okay, what we've discussed today, we've covered why listening is essential for building trust, and how to practice active listening using your body language, reflecting and summarizing. And finally, we've identified common listening mistakes that we can avoid. So now that you are aware, you can make better choices. And so I would encourage you to do these daily practice tips. Remember, just like any other skill, listening takes practice. And again, practicing the right thing makes perfecting the right thing and making it permanent. So here are a few ways to start applying active listening daily. Next time you're in a conversation, try to make that eye contact, nodding to show that you are present and if you're agreeing, right? Repeat back something that the other person said to confirm that you are understanding what they're saying. And then the last one would be to limit distraction. So if you're listening, let your phone rest for a few minutes. Maybe put it on vibrate mode so it will not disrupt the conversation. These small changes can make a big difference in the quality of your conversations. I've tried it, I've proven it, and I know that it really, really works. Okay, so as a practice goal, as we wrap up today, I encourage you to set a goal for practicing active listening. Again, you can practice with your children. I encourage you highly to do practice with your family. They will love it and they will find more, more you will realize that they will appreciate you more when you start doing this with them. Maybe it's one conversation a day, right? Where you fully commit to be an active listener. And maybe prioritize a person whom you want to grow your relationship with because it will really add value to that relationship. So in the chat, I challenge you to share one action that you take to improve your listening this week. I'd love to hear your goals as far as listening is concerned. And if you're watching the replay, then just alongside your comment, just put replay, right? And where you're from and if you're finding value to this, right? So, would there be any questions so far, everybody? I know it's getting late there in the Philippines and it's very, very early morning here in Hawaii. We're very excited for the convention. And if you have any questions or you can put it in the chat, I will come back to them once I read them back tomorrow. Or if you have any questions right now, maybe I can address them before we end the live session. And as I can see here, there's none naman. Okay. So I will just review it later on, and then we will address those questions on our live for tomorrow. I'll probably do it way, way earlier so that I could get to sleep earlier as well, since the time zone here is different. So, in closing, thank you everybody for joining me today as we learned about the art of listening. I hope that you're walking away with a renewed commitment to become an active listener in all your interactions is there. And what's coming up for our day six? So, day six is about building genuine connections. So, I invite you again to join me tomorrow. Very, very quick live sessions. And if you found this session very helpful, of course, please like and subscribe and share with others who might find this beneficial. Don't forget, join us tomorrow for more insights on building strong, genuine connections as part of our live series on building a powerful network from scratch. And everybody, thank you again for being here. I will see you again next time. That's tomorrow. Once again, this is Lani Santa Ana, your network spreneur mama, and let's go build a business that lasts and harness the power of networking. Thank you, everyone. Good night from Hawaii. See you tomorrow. Bye.